Hello, I'm at EarthSave, and this is in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And here we're interviewing Dr. Douglas Graham, and he is a promoter of raw food and healthy eating ethics. And the background, a little bit of Dr. Graham is that he was an athlete, a gymnast and a trampolinist, and he had an injury. And after that, then he went into writing and promoting more and studying more about the nature of food with athletes. Could you tell me a little bit of the background of what inspired you to turn vegan and moving toward raw eating? Okay.
Well, sure. Essentially, as an athlete, I was always looking for some type of an advantage over the competition, and after I realized everybody had access to the same training techniques that I had, they had access to the same equipment that I had, there really wasn't many other places to turn other than me being willing to do something with my diet that other athletes weren't willing to do. So I started experimenting, and every time I found something that worked better, I would incorporate that into the program. Really, sports performance was the biggest issue, but oddly enough, in the end, I don't follow the diet that I currently follow primarily for its sports performance, but because instead what I found was that my ability to think clearly and follow a train of thought, my compassion for other life forms on the planet, my entire inner calm and tranquility, a tremendous number of ethical and moral and environmental issues all seem to align with a healthier eating program. The more I went to whole, fresh, ripe, raw organic plants, the more I ate raw foods, the more I ate fruits and vegetables fresh off the tree exactly the way they were to be found in nature, the more all the right things happened in my health and in my sports performance. And so for many people, they might think, oh, well, it's a bit of a price to pay. I really thought, like, wow, this was the prize. The prize was that when I eat well, I feel great. When I feel great, I'm motivated to continue eating well. And there was no penalty. There was no downside whatsoever. Healthful living gives you all the rewards you could ever wish to have from them. I soon learned that food isn't just about nutrition any more than nutrition is just about food. You got to have sunlight, you have to have exercise, you have to get fresh air and enough rest, emotional poise, and all the other things that are part of your that enhance your digestive process and are part of overall good nutrition. But your health can't be better than its weakest link. And for many of us, making dietary improvements is a huge part of the package. And the easiest one to do is just to eat more fruits and vegetables.
Did you find that you were able to get enough protein, and especially as being an athlete, did you find that you would get hungry, or did you find that, how did it improve your performance as an athlete?
Well, those are all good questions. Having done the math, I can assure you that I get enough protein, but in fact, getting enough is not a problem for almost anyone. Certainly in our Western world, as long as they have enough food, they're getting enough protein. As far as eating enough, I mean, I certainly eat as much as I care for. Only because my background is in nutrition have I ever really run the numbers to say, am I getting enough of this, am I getting enough of that? As far as my performance, what I saw happen was that literally every measurable aspect of performance, from speed, strength, and endurance, from balance and motor skills to my flexibility, my on-court performance, my on-court recovery, or my long-term recovery, virtually every aspect of my sports performance that I could measure improved simply when I made a diet change, and it happened quickly. But also a lot of things that I really didn't have the words for in terms of trying to define them as sports performance. My joy of participation increased as I felt better and did better. And I don't have a way of objectifying that like I can recovery time or speed.
What advice would you give to people that are thinking of going on a raw food diet? Could they do it gradually, or do you think they should just do the changeover, or whatever feels good for them at the time?
Well, I think that each person really picks their own speed of transition. The frustration most people experience isn't due to the speed of the transition as much as it is to the direction in which they are heading. If you're heading in the right direction, you're going to get there, and the speed is up to you. I find in terms of ease of transition, the easiest way to stop banging your head against the wall is to just plain stop. Rather than focusing on what I'm against, which you'll almost never hear me speak about, what I talk about is what I'm in favor of. And I'm in favor of people eating whole, fresh, ripe, or organic plants. It's a very simple program in that regard. While we understand that some people have more attachment to the old way, we also know that if you're on first base, there's just no way to get to second without leaving the security of first. My professional experience has been that the easiest transition from any diet to any other is to just do it, get it over with, make the transition, and find out what the new diet is like, rather than trying to live partly in the old diet and partly in the new diet and squeezing across from one to the other. But even with a raw diet, which my recommendation is increase the percentage of raw foods on your plate at each and every meal. Start the meal with raw food in order to get it in. These kinds of simple techniques. It still matters what you choose for raw foods. And this is why I wrote the 80-10-10 diet, and it's why we recommend that people specifically eat a diet that has sufficient amount of carbohydrates, because insufficient carbohydrates invariably leads to disorder